Easy geezers. So, after what feels like years of delays, XDefiant has finally dropped. And if you've just dropped into the game and your movement feels a bit weird and you're whiffing all your shots, then I've got the video for you. I'm going to show you all the best settings in-game and on the Dualsense Edge Controller on how to improve your aim. So we'll pair the two settings together. We'll start off in-game and then we'll jump over to the controller. If you find these videos useful, then make sure you subscribe to the channel because I upload videos on how to get free content on XDefiant and Call of Duty, as well as best settings videos across both games. So yeah, make sure you subscribe. Anyway, let's jump into it. So let's start off by looking at the controller settings in-game, and first off it'll be the button layout. So I've actually got this set to default, which means you slide with the left paddle and then you jump with the right paddle. And actually in games like Call of Duty I actually play tactical, and if that's how you play as well, then you'll want to choose the brawler preset for this. But I was using this in XDefiant and to be honest it just wasn't feeling quite right. It didn't feel quite as smooth as it does in Call of Duty, so I've actually left it with default and just kind of got used to sliding with the left paddle and jumping with the right. And then stick layout you want obviously set as default, and then aim assist you want set to standard. You can turn it off if you want, but you want it on. Aim assist definitely isn't as strong as it is in Call of Duty, and you'll notice that, and that's probably why you're missing more shots. You want to make sure that the aim assist strength and the follow is set to 0, and you might have seen a lot of videos online saying that you want to have it as the reverse S-curve, but once we pair this with the Dualsense Edge controller settings, we'll find that linear works perfectly. I found my aim so much tighter, I'm not kind of overcompensating and almost getting slightly confused by this reverse S-curve, and the S-curve on this is a lot steeper than it is on games like Call of Duty, so I found that linear is a lot more easier to control. Then on the horizontal and the vertical sensitivity I've got these set to 60. Again, the movement is kind of quite quick and jerky on this, so I've pulled this down a little bit and it's just made it feel like I've got a bit more control. And same for the aim look sensitivity across lower zoom and scopes as well. And then dead zone I've left to 3. The lower you can get this the better really, as with any game. Acceleration speed multiplier you want down to 0. Invert horizontal axis is off. I actually play invert vertical axis, but this will be completely up to you. And then controller vibrations off. You don't want the vibrations to throw off your aim or affect the way that you're moving the joystick, so make sure you have that turned off. And then if we jump over to the gameplay and UI, there'll be a couple of settings here. So you want to make sure if you're using a monitor, have your field of view between 115 and 120. This will just give you greater scope of view, and with this you want to keep the ADS field of view consistent. So this will mean that you're not constantly punching in as you ADS, particularly in higher zoom scopes. That's what would happen if you went to independent, so make sure you keep that to consistent. You want your ADS behavior as hold, and the transition needs to be instant as well, because as soon as you're ADSing you want to be down ADS with more precision. You don't want to be able to melee during ADS because that's just going to pull you out of gunfights and you're definitely going to die to that. Aiming interrupts reload is on. Crouch behavior is toggle. Sprint behavior tap, much like it would be in Call of Duty. Auto tack sprint is off. Sprint interrupt reload is on. So this just means if you're caught reloading and you get jumped by an opponent, then you can sprint and it will stop the reload and you can empty off the rest of the mag and hopefully get that kill, and it might save your life. Slide behavior is tap. Auto reload weapon is on. Auto switch weapon is on. Auto grab ledge is off. And then for your HUD limits, you want to bring these in slightly, so this will just mean that your eye doesn't have to travel quite as far to look at things like the minimap, so you can bring this right into about 45 for each. Then if we jump over to the Dualsense Edge controller settings, so I've set up a specific custom profile for XDefiant, and if we jump into these, as you'll see I've got circle as my left paddle and X as my right paddle, and so that just means that I am sliding with the left paddle and jumping with the right paddle. The rest I've left absolutely default. But if we move over to the stick sensitivity, so the left stick I have left as default with no adjustment to the dead zone, but if we move over to the right stick, I've got my sensitivity curve set to precise. And for this I've reduced the adjustment curve to -2 with 0 dead zone. So this just ties in nicely with the linear aim response curve that we've chosen in game, and there's no conflict and there's no kind of weird movement responses, and it just feels a lot crisper. And for both the left and right trigger dead zones, you want to have it from 0 to 1, so it gets the minimum amount of input to register on the controller. Obviously, same as in game, you want the vibration intensity off, and similarly the trigger effect intensity as off as well, just so you're not getting your aim thrown off by a wobbling controller. So those are the best settings, but there are a couple of things that you're going to want to bear in mind just to make sure that you feel like as comfortable and things feel as tight as possible. And one of those things is that strafing can really affect your aim, and so because of the way that the movement works, unlike in Call of Duty where strafing can actually kind of lock on your aim assist, because there's less aim assist in this game, you'll find that if you're strafing a lot while shooting, if you don't compensate for it, you'll find out that you're missing a lot of shots. So it is easier to stand more still, particularly when you're shooting at range, to make sure you hit your shots. Also, the damage multipliers are way more leaning towards the head, so you definitely want to be aiming for those headshots if you can, because you'll notice the TTK is so much quicker if you're hitting those headshots. Chest's not too bad, but if you're hitting limbs, then it's going to take quite a while to get those kills. So it does reward headshots, which is fair enough. So yeah, even with all these settings, make sure you're hitting those headshots. So there we have it. Your aim should be feeling a little bit tighter now. Let me know down in the comments if this helped you out, or if you've got any other settings that you don't agree with, let me know. If you did find this helpful, then please consider subscribing to the channel, liking the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.